paper. Okay, and I'll highlight any key things there as well. So 0417 and it's 21 is the code of this paper. Okay, I'll do this very quickly as well, so we'll whiz through each section to show you the skills as fast as I can. If you've got any questions, just put them in the comments. Let me know if you would do anything differently as well. So, first question. We've got the following source files, and then we need to set up your evidence document to start with. First thing, open the file evidence, making sure your name, center number, candidate number appears on every page. And we'll save it in the work area as evidence, and then your candidate number. Remember to save that throughout and play screenshots when required. So, in the folder, we'll open evidence. And first thing, in the header and footer, make sure your name, candidate number, and center number appears on every page. Okay. And sometimes it will also ask for maybe page number, but in this case it doesn't. So then we'll save that as evidence 9999. So file, save as. Okay, in the same folder, evidence in capitals 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go, and save. Okay, and we'll use this whenever we need any evidence for any of the questions. Okay, so task 2 is the document. This is the document production one. And we're going to edit a document for Tawara Tot's childcare. The company uses a corporate house style for all documents. Paragraph styles must be created and applied as instructed. Okay, sometimes it will tell you in this section not to change anything. In this one it doesn't. So we'll just, whenever we need to change something or apply it as instructed. So open the file childcare, and it's a rich text file. The page setup is set to A4 portrait, 2 centimeter margins, and really important, don't make changes to those settings. Okay. Already there's 3 paragraph styles. Do not make any changes unless instructed. Okay. And then save the document in your work area with the file name nursery in capitals. Saved in the format of the software you're using, and then evidence. It's been saved with the type of file type. Okay, so we'll open up that one, which was childcare. Okay, we can see already it looked like there was 2 pages there. Okay. At the top, we've got styles. We've got body, subhead, and table style. Okay, and if you click on the subheadings, already they've applied to subheading or body. Okay. So first task was to save it, file, save as, and then browse, and just make sure it's saved as the type you're using, maybe even Word document. Okay. And we needed to call it nursery in capitals. Save. Okay, and then we can go into that document. You can see there nursery. And type of file type there, Microsoft Word document. Okay. What could be a possibility, depending on the question, you can make sure you've got view and you're in details, and then you can right click on these fields at the top, and sometimes I will like to put in, if we search for file extension, if there's something that doesn't appear, you can add it here as well, such things like dimensions and so on. But in this case, I'm just going to put on the file extension as well, and the file type. And then our screenshot is, again, make sure you've got where it's saved to, and then there we go. Okay, and then we'll add that into the evidence document. Okay, and if we can make it slightly bigger, there we go. So that would be my evidence to show that it's saved with the correct file type in the program we're using as nursery. Okay. Yes, so the file type. Okay, question 2. Place in the nursery document a right aligned header on a single line. So it can't be in 2 lines. And it will say prospectus produced by and a colon. And then it will be your space, name, center number, and candidate number. And then also in the footer, left aligned automated page numbers. Let's see, so top right, right aligned prospectus produced by. I'm just going to copy that and double click in between here, and it will take you to the header and footer tools. Right aligned, you can double click on this side, okay, and then prospectus produced by name, your number, and center. Okay, and at the bottom you can double click here between the footer, and if you go up to page number at the top in the header footer toolbar, and let's have a look, bottom of the page, and it was left aligned a number. Okay, and then if you check, that will apply that on each page. Okay. Okay, and I think the only mistake I made there was obviously name, center number, then candidate number. So again, follow this question clearly. If it's in bold writing here, it has to be exactly the same text. Okay. Make sure it was on a single line within the page margins. Nothing's covering other things, and it displays on all pages. Yes, and I think that would get all 3 marks. Quite a simple mark for that one. Okay, this one, create and store the following style, basing it on the default normal paragraph style. Okay, for this question, I might try and just snap this to both sides so we can see the question at the same time. Okay, that'll be a little bit helpful. Okay, so it's up at the top. I'm going to go to here on the styles, and we want to create a style. And this time, sometimes you modify, sometimes you would create one. So create a style, and it needs to be called TC-title. Be really careful with the spelling and punctuation, capital letters. It has to be the same as the paper. Okay, and then go to modify. Okay, the style is based on default normal. So at the moment, it's based on the body because I had that selected at the top. So make sure it's just normal, or in your program it might say default. Just important because that's 1 mark. Okay, and then follow the instructions. So the first one, font style needs to be serif. So a serif font is with style. That would be Times New Roman. If it's sans serif, is without, I generally use Arial, unless it tells you exactly what to put. So if it's serif, it will be Times New Roman or another serif font. Size 32. Okay, type 32. Alignment is in the center. Let's have a look. Alignment, centered. Bold and italic. And line spacing single. You can double check the line spacing if you go to format, paragraph, and we want it to be single. So line spacing is here, single. While we're in here, we could also do the space before is 0, space after is 6 point. That's how much space is after the title. Okay, press OK. And it says make sure there's evidence that you have based this on the default normal paragraph style. Yep. Place this in your evidence document. Right. So this question, you can see here is everything we've added. This will be the evidence and also the based on normal. Okay. And then let's take a screenshot of this page and then press OK because you won't be able to get this document open with that open. And let's place it in step 3, evidence. Okay. Next question. Okay, and we've done that one. Next question. Apply the TC title style to the title text Tawara Tots Childcare. So that new style we just created. And just be careful here because if you see what's happened here, because I had something selected, it has put the title there. So just be really careful you're not inside a paragraph because it will apply the title to all of it. So this one I had selected by mistake, this section, which is in the body. So I'm just going to select this again and put that style back to body because it's part of that one. Okay. It might have been a good idea to read ahead and then have this selected when we made it, which will be the title. So select the title and make it title. Okay. And that's 1 mark. Next one, select the subheading staff and the following text up into including paragraph enjoy their new surroundings. So staff is there. I can do Control F a quick way to find new surroundings. Okay, and it says make friends and enjoy. There's 2 new surroundings. Enjoy their new surroundings is this one here. Okay, so select all of that but nothing after from staff, and then change the page layout so the text is displayed in 2 columns, equal width, 1 centimeter space in between. So up here we'll go to layout, columns. Don't select 2. I want to go to more columns because then you have the option of going to 2, and then at this point you can also change the spacing to 1 centimeter in between. 2 columns, apply to selected text with an equal color width. Okay. There we go. And then just check that's applied to the right section all the way down, and then the text afterwards is on its own. Perfect. Okay, question 6. The style named subhead has already been created, stored and applied to the 5 subheadings. Yes, we saw the subheadings have that on. Modify this time. And yeah, really important, only the following format is applied. I've noticed that on some of the most recent papers, they've got this where they have only the following, and you just have to make sure that you take off anything in the style that's there currently that's not on this list, because that will be part of the mark. So if you notice something that's not here that might be applied, maybe take it off because only the following is applied. Okay, same again. I'm going to snap this to this side so we can see both at the same time. Right, this time I'm going to make sure I'm just going to click in one of the subheadings and then go to home and then right click and modify this style. Okay, you can see already the font style is sans serif. So sans serif font would be Arial. So we change Times New Roman is a serif font to Arial, which is a sans serif font. The font size is 14. The alignment is center. It needs to be italic, bold. It doesn't say underlined, so take underlined off. It disappears from this section here. All capitals, right. All capitals doesn't show here. You'd have to go to Format, Font, and you can see from the effects here, it is in all caps over here. Okay, and that will make it all capital letters. Okay. Line spacing, let's go to Format, Paragraph. Line spacing is single, okay. Space before is 0, and space after is 7. Now, type in 7 into there, and let's just put point in points, yes. Okay. And then it says take screenshot evidence showing it's been modified and the settings have been applied. So I'm just going to press OK because it hasn't been applied yet. Okay, it's been applied there though. So I think in my screenshot, I'm going to go to right click modify. And if it wants it applied as well, you can see that one has been, and it's got all of the information we needed there. So I think just to be clear, I'm going to, in my screenshot, I'll have that staff applied there. Before you pressed OK, that didn't show. So just to be clear, in my answer, in my evidence, I'll do that. Okay. With your screenshot, you have to press OK on this option box, and then it will let you leave that document. Step 6, evidence. Yeah, so I've put that in just to make clear that I have also applied that in there as well. Okay. Okay, and just double check we've answered that. Yes. Place this in your evidence document under step 6. Okay, Question 7. Apply a numbered list formatted as 1 to 7 to the text from communication language to arts and design. Okay, okay. Oh, I'm on the wrong document here. Nursery. So, communication and language to expressive art and design. Apply a numbered list. Okay, 1 to 7. Just snap that on so we can see both at the same time. The numbers are aligned to the left margin of the column. Okay, so you can see this isn't aligned to the left at the moment, so highlight the text and you can go up to layout and the indent is here and just make that so it goes to 0 and now it's aligned to the left of the column. The list is single line spacing with no space before or after each line. So at the moment spacing 0, we can make 0 point as well here. Okay, we've done that one. And there is a 7-point space after the last item. So here you can click spacing after, and oh, it's hard. They're not going to measure it with a ruler or anything, but just make sure it's 7 after the last item. Perfect. Okay, next one. Import the image logo and place it in the paragraph beginning. We have 8 spacious playrooms. So I'm going to go Control F. We have 8 spacious. So it's this paragraph here. And the logo needs to go into that paragraph. You could read ahead. It needs to be aligned to the right margin at the top of the paragraph. So I'm just going to click at the start of the sentence and I'll insert it here, but we'll have to wrap it so it goes on the side. So insert a picture and it's in my desktop logo. I can see it's upside down already. Insert and rotate the image 180 degrees. So click on the image, format, and let's have a look here. You can see the rotation tool is here. Click here. Rotate 180 degrees. Hold on, let's read this carefully. So rotate, flip vertical, that would be 180 change. And you can see that's backwards now, so I guess let's make this bigger so we can see the selection. Yes, and I'll flip it horizontal, so I guess that would be 90 degrees and that would be the other way around. So we flip it that way so you can read it. And aspect ratio maintained, yeah, so it's the same. Format the image though, top right margin at the top of the paragraph with the text wrapping around the image. So click on the image, wrap text. We can put it square and then move it across with the text wrapping around right in the top of that paragraph, top right. Okay. And it didn't say to change the size. Yes, so I think we've answered all of those. Next question, question 9. Locate the table in the document. Format the table so the table width is set to 13 centimeters. So again, I'm going to snap this on. So we'll find the table. There it is. And we'll go up to Table Tools, Layout, and 13 centimeters wide. So if I select the whole table, width, let's try 13. That's a little too wide. Okay, I'm not sure that's... Perhaps we can read ahead and see what else it says here. The the table width is set to 30. That's the cell width, isn't it? So it's both of them. So I'm going to undo that. Okay, so okay, I've not seen a question like this. Normally it's the cell width. So I think by selecting all of it, the width, this is the cell size. So I think let's try up here in, select the table, properties, and table preferred width. Let's try this one, 13 centimeters. Okay, yeah, that looks better. So it's 13 centimeter wide, and it's automatically, you can see, change the width for each of them. So it's 13. Okay. All rows are set to 1 centimeter high. So all rows, height, 1 centimeter. Okay, that looks a bit strange, but it still fits in there. As long as you're following the questions. Yeah, all rows are set to 1 centimeter. The data is center aligned vertically in each row. So select all of the rows, and it will be in up here, alignment, and that's center align horizontally and vertically. So vertically would be in the middle, and the table is centered within the page margin. So click on the table, and we can go home, and we can just click on center aligned in the middle. So that's answered that question. Yep. Okay. Again, I'm not sure on the table width. I think it's answered. All rows 1 centimeter. Yeah, and it fits in the 2 pages of where that will print. Okay, last one. Spell check and proofread the document. Make sure the list and table are not split over columns or pages. So there's the table, and there's the list. No, no widows or orphans. So just check there's no text that's sort of overlapping. This paragraph fits onto there. This column starts a curriculum, perfect. And then this one moves on to there. Yeah, so there's nothing really that's half on, half off one of the columns or pages. There's no blank pages, no. Original styles are maintained. Yeah, that would be if, like I did earlier, if you were inside one of the paragraphs and made a new style, it would apply it to all of them. I think it looks like that all the styles are applied. And all styles are consistent, they haven't missed anything off. Spacing is consistent between all items, and then save the document. So I can see there, it looks pretty good. The spacing is consistent all the way throughout. Yes. Now, you would then print it. Go to print preview. We go have a look at it in this view. Print it off, and then again check it when you receive it if there's anything else you can change. Okay. Yeah. And print the document. So that's 22 marks. Hopefully, again, I didn't miss anything out. I did that as quick as I could. If you need to prepare some reports, make sure all currency values display the same currency symbol, okay, and 2 decimal places. As we go, I'll highlight any key things you need to do just to show, and read the question carefully, which is very important. So question 11, examine the file games.csv and find the most appropriate field to set as primary key. Okay, close the file. So remember, if you do open it, close it, or you can't open it in your database program. What I'll do is I'll just open up that file in my database. So create a new one. So first step, to import that table, we will go to external data. Remember, on the import side, not export. From file, and it's a text file. Even though it's might come up as a spreadsheet file, it's a CSV file, which is a text file. So find your folder that the files are located and open games. Okay, we're going to click OK on the first one. Okay, the data is delimited, so it's separated by a comma. Okay, and then the first row contains field names. Okay. So I've done it this way because you can see the data inside these little columns here, and you can look through. Your primary key needs to be something that's unique. So looking across, I can see gen code, game code, age code. It looks like
game code is going to be the primary key. So I would look at it that way. Yeah, and you can see the unique going down through the data. Okay, so next. This question, you can look at some of the data types here. We've got text, integer there, and just double check against the question if there's anything you can change. So you'll see the store and the display and data type. So looking through, we need number for Alicia, currency for price, 2 decimal places, global sales is a decimal, and rank will be an integer. Okay, what I'll try and do is, if I can, I'll snap this to the side, and it's not going to let me. So let's see, integer there. Okay, go across. Price, we can set to, it's at double, but we can make it currency here. I guess double's fine for decimal places with 2 digits after, so you could have put that the same, but it will save us having to make it currency later. Global sales, I remember, was on the question there, is a number, and it will be a decimal to 2 decimal places. So this one, global sales, I would change to double, which it already is. And the rank, was it? Is an integer with no decimal places, which we can change later. Perfect. So we'll go next. Choose your own primary key. We said that game code was the unique bit of data that we could use. So I'm happy with that one. Next, and then finish there. Okay, really important on this step, just open the table, make sure there's no data that's missing, because you wouldn't always spot it, but if something looks a bit strange, you can change it there, or if anything's missing, and then you can always go back on this step before continuing and realizing there's been some sort of mistake. So that data looks like it's imported successfully. So next task, go to Home, go to View, Design View, and we can just double check some of those questions. So we know that the first one has to be 0 decimal places. So go into Releasia. It's a number, long integer, decimal places, 0. Okay, I could see before when we looked at the data, it was already like that. But just to make sure, we've put 0 there. Next one, the price has to be currency symbol with 2 decimal places. So price, currency. This one, you can choose your currency as well. So if you know you wanted to have pound or euro, the question said you could choose any, but make sure it's the same throughout. So I'm going to choose pounds, and decimal places, we want 2. Okay. Next question, we wanted global sales is 2 decimal places. So global sales is double, and decimal places 2. Okay. Format, you could also, to make sure it stays 2, I would put it as fixed as well. So you can see on general number has 3 digits after. Fixed would make sure it's obviously fixed to that with 2 decimal places after. Okay. And the last one, rank, was 0 decimal places. Okay, and then just go back, double check, save the table, yep, and just check your data there. So just see rank, global sales, and it's gone 2 decimal places, and the currency is 2 decimal places. So I'm happy with that. Okay. So looking at this question, let's go further down. Yes, yes, save the data, place a screenshot showing the field names, data types, and primary key used in the table. So for that screenshot, we need to go back into Design View, and you can see game code is the primary key there, showing the data types are there. And I'm going to take that screenshot. So usually you take a screenshot of this. Again, sometimes if you did, there's in the question, it doesn't really ask for the extra display to put on, but you could, just to double check, if it doesn't affect the actual screenshot, put a little extra in. Okay. If you're not sure, you could always put that a little bit in to make sure you get the mark. But the main thing is this area here for that one. So take a screenshot, and then in the evidence document for step 11, add it in here and just make sure it's a good size so the examiner can read that clearly. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to close that down. So where you can, close all the tables down when you're not using them, just in case you need to save them when you forget to save. And we'll head over to the next question. So question 12. Import the file classifications CSV, field names and data types provided. Okay, it doesn't always say that, and that's quite good. So we don't have to look against these data types. And age code is the primary key, and then again a screenshot of pretty similar to what we've just done. So classifications for question 12. So external data, new data source from file, text file, browse, classifications, okay. And it's delimited, separated by a comma. First row contains the field names, and it just said to use what was provided. And I can see it's just, if we click on the next one, it's just text, text, and a number for the age category. So yeah, and choose my own primary key. It was age category. So that's the, oh, age code, I'm pretty sure. Let's just double check there. Age code, yes, is the unique identifier. Okay, so this table looks like it's got an age code which says how old you have to be to watch a movie. Okay, and finish. Okay, again, just double check the data, make sure it's all went across. It's just a small amount of data here. In design view, we'll take a screenshot of that, and then you'll get a mark. Make sure as well you get the name of the table there, and then this one. And then step 12, add that in, perfect. And I'm just going to enter there, so then step 13, the examiner knows exactly where to look, and it's easy for them. Nice. And then close this table down if you're not using it. Okay. Again, and hopefully I'll try and again do this as quick as possible just so we can do all the skills and in a nice quick pace. So genre is next. Again, it looks a very similar question. You don't have to look at the data, it's just what's provided. That doesn't always do that, that's quite nice. And gen code is the primary key. And then same evidence. Nice, easy question, this one. So external data, new data source from file, text file, browse, and it was genre. Okay, delimited next. First row contains field names, next. And you can see short text, a very simple table. And choose my own primary key, gen code, next, finish. Okay, and again, just double check that data it went in. Yep, so it's just, this will show what is the code, and it has a genre linked to that code. So let's go to Home, View, Design View. Take a quick screenshot of that. Nice and easy. I think that would be maybe 1 or 2 marks, which is a nice way to start this paper. Not too confusing. There. Okay. So step 14, there's also some evidence I can see. So we've done that, and close and save the table. So next, one-to-many relationships and links between gen code in the genre table and gen code in the games table. Age code to age code in the games table. Okay, and then we need some evidence for that. So I'm just going to snap that to that side and this to here so I can see it at the same time. Close all the tables down. That's important here as you're going to edit some of the relationships between them. Go to Database Tools, Relationships, and you can add in each table. Okay, there's 3 tables in this database, and then just look carefully at the question. So we want gen code from the genre table. So I'm going to take it from the genre table to gen code in the games table. And just be careful. So you'll grab this field here and then drop it on top of gen code here. Again, it doesn't show you which one you're dropping it on. You just have to be careful with your cursor. And then look at this here. So gen code to gen code, you can enforce, I'll click this button here, enforce referential integrity, and then create. Okay, if you do that, you'll see the one-to-many symbol there. And then next one is age code in the classifications. So go from this table, age code to age code in the games table. And then, yep, age code to age code, create. Okay, your screenshots for this one, I would make sure you do it after you create the relationships, because before this will say create, and all of your screenshots need to be after you've done something. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just edit this one so we can see more on the screen. Spread it out a little bit. So you can see that there. Oh, I think I didn't click quite on that line. Yep, take a screenshot of this. Hold on, that was a bit silly of me. I'm just going to move this to the side so we can get them all in that screenshot. Okay, relationships there, and then perfect. So that's the gen code to gen code. Step 14 evidence. And we'll also need another screenshot for the other relationship we created, which was age code to age code. Oops, again, didn't quite click on that line. So screenshot, and I'll just get this box here because we can see, yeah, you can see it says one to many here. Okay. Perfect. And then let's create a next one. So the next step, 17 evidence, is the next one we need to look at. So there's a couple of questions without some evidence. Okay, relationships, save it and close it. And then we can check the next question. Okay, and yes, we did that. So 15, add the following as a new record in the games table. So, yep, so this one we just need to, no forms or anything. Again, it's quite simple, just you have to be really careful for checking for any errors. So again, I'll snap this to that side so I can just see both at the same time. We're going to go into the games table. At the bottom here, you can see new record. Really important. Try not to come out of this if you're halfway through and start again, because you might lose that record inside and you'll have to find it again. But just be careful. Spell it exactly the same. Don't make any spelling mistakes. Also check the field at the top matches the same order as here. I've seen some students type it in and it's not been the same order, and then they've put maybe the gen code in the wrong column, and you would lose a mark for that. G6, PZ020, and this is all about just being careful that it's exactly the same. So game code, age code is C3. Again, these are nice, easy marks. Publisher, creation, arts, price, 18.80. Added that for me. And console type is a Cyrus 360, an interesting console. And platform GD7. Just be careful with capital letters. Everything is exactly the same. And then the global sales 4.86. And the rank, that is 203. Okay, check your data entry for errors. So just double check them because that's worth how many marks? 2 marks for that. Okay, and then save the data. So you can close it and save it. Yeah. Now, that question, you don't get the marks for the screenshot. That'll be when you print your reports later. This record will be in one of the queries, and then that's how you'll get the marks. Is if it's on your report, they'll see if you've entered that correctly. Okay, next question. Right, is time for the query and report. So I'll make this bigger so we can look at this one. So all 3 tables. Make a tabular report that selects records where console type begins with the text Cyrus. So the one we just added was a Cyrus 360. The release year is 2010 or later. Okay. And it only shows these fields. Let's highlight this one as well, it's quite important. Again, on your paper, you could highlight or underline the key things because there's a lot in these questions sometimes that you can sometimes miss something small like rank as well, we missed off there. In this order with data labels displayed. Do not group the data. Sort in ascending order of rank. So I'm going to stop there because the rest is in the report. This section is in the query we can look at. Okay, so I'm going to snap this here, open this side, create. And you could do the query wizard. I think today I'm going to do query design and just drag across the 3 tables into here. Okay, and you can see them there. So we can see all the fields if we can. So it needs to be in that order we've got game title. So just if you do it this way without the wizard, you can just drag and drop them in. If it's across 3 tables, I find it a bit easier because you can just see each field you're dropping in and where it comes from. Because genre, I guess, is from over here. And age category is over here. Release year is from this table. So I think that I find that a bit easier than jumping between in the wizard where there's drop-down menus. Console type, and last one, rank, which is here. Okay. And yeah, you could sort it here, but we can do that later in the report. And yes, let's do the query now. So console type begins with Cyrus. There. So let's find console type. Okay, I'm just going to make a mistake here. If you was to type in Cyrus, if you didn't read the question, you would get return of 6 records here, but read the question carefully. I think lots of students might make that mistake. It says console type begins with the text Cyrus. Okay, they do begin with the text Cyrus, but there was, like the one we added, Cyrus 360. So instead of the quotes, you need to use a wildcard search with the asterisks and put Cyrus. If it was to start with Cyrus, it would be Cyrus and then an asterisk. If it ended in Cyrus, you could have Cyrus, asterisk, then Cyrus. If I run that, or click off, you can see like Cyrus. You can see you got Cyrus 360, Cyrus, and also the Cyrus Pro. Okay, and you can see our Dr. Thomas is in there at the bottom. Okay, back to design view for the next query, which was 2010 or later. On this one, if you got stuck, you could have after or more than 2019. That would actually return the same results. If you needed a screenshot though, just to show what you made, we really should do more than or equal to 2010 and then run it and just double check 2010's there and nothing before. So we've got 36 results, which is nice when we print it off, I guess. Okay, and now we can close that query, save it. Sometimes it's good to just add like question, is this question 16? Just so you don't get confused by it if you have to make another query later. Okay, so query 1, question 16. So now we can make a report. So create, and I would do the report wizard for this one. Okay, if you select your query, you've already got those fields selected, join them across, and I think we had them in that correct order as well. I'm just doing a double check. Genre, age, yes. Okay, next. Okay, this would be grouping. You can see if I don't choose games, they're grouped. We don't want any grouping. No levels. And we need to sort by rank by ascending. Yes, and nice. The rest of them, I think, are fairly simple here. So as a page orientation of portrait. Yep, it's tabular. And the name of the report is that. And the rest we can do rest. So we want to adjust the field width so it fits on one page. That was in the question. Next. Title of the report, again, make sure you copy it from the paper exactly the same. That's a very easy mark. And then finish. So this is our report. Okay, you can see some of the text is missed off and we need to put your name on there as well. And also, whatever you sort it by will automatically go to the start of the report. So one thing we need to do is move it to this side so it's in order. So my first step, I like to always go to design view and click on rank, hold down control and rank, and just use your arrow key just to move it across to the other side. Okay. It's there, it's underneath this one. Okay. And then while you're in this one, make sure you don't choose a text box, choose a label. Add your name. Again, just write your name, candidate number, and center number exactly where it asks. If it doesn't ask, put it somewhere obvious. Okay. And I then like to go to layout view And then this is easier just to move things. If you hold down Control, move these across. I can see some of these don't fit on, so you can drag that wider. Again, use your time, look down, make sure they all fit in. Yes, they do. Genre, this is quite wide, so hold down Control, pull this across. Category, we've got lots of space and it doesn't quite show. That looks okay. Release year. Okay, now, what I might do, we've got a bit of space there actually. What we can do is pull this one in and then use the arrows to put it across. We can then have a bit more space for release here. And then rank, we could just pull across a little bit so it fits on. Okay. And then just have a little overview on this view. It's all there. We've got a name, game title. You can make sure you can read everything and it's somewhat consistent as well. Okay, let's just double check that question. Okay, title in a larger font, fully visible, somewhere on your report, your name. Yes, so I think we've answered all those questions. And then save and print. Okay, so your evidence here, you'll also get marks for having that one you entered. So Dr. Thomas should be somewhere on there, I think. Unless it's on the next report. I can't quite see it there. So it must be on the next report actually. And then we can print it. So go to view, print preview, double check it here, make sure it's consistent. Okay, the font here is slightly bigger, so that's fine. Yeah, and everything fits in and it's on one page as well. Perfect. So you'd print that, check it as well when it's printed out for consistency. So close that down. Yes, save it as well. And now on to the next question. So we've got one question left on the databases. This looks a little longer. And this time it is another report to this time. So from the games table and classifications table, produce a tabular report that selects records where game title is Thomas, so that's the one you added, age code is C3 or C7. Has a new field called sales, which is a runtime field. It's a percentage sales. Total number of games was sold was 354. And this one will always usually give you the maths involved after. So it's global sales divided by 354 multiplied by 100. And then also display with 2 decimal places. And then we only want to show these fields in this order. Age category, global sales, publisher, console type, and with data labels displayed in full. And then the rest looks like it is all in the report. So this one we can look at in the query. Okay, and I've just noticed something interesting. You've got age code up here, but then age code does not come in the fields you want to show. So that's a little interesting. That could cause some confusion. And it is really small, and some students might not notice that one, and it can cause maybe you to lose a little bit of time. So we will go to create. You could do query wizard, and then you'd have to look at these and select them. So I think I might, for this one, do query design, and then same again, we can just drop across what we need. So we just need the games table and the classification table. Okay, you can see they're linked together there. And then I'll just snap this on so I can see both at the same time. And in the exam, hopefully you'll have your paper there so you can see it. It's a bit easier, I think. So game title, age, category, which is over here. Global sales, game publisher, console type. Oh, let's just move this across. Price and sales percentage. Okay, I've had some students say this and say oh, they can't find sales percentage, but we haven't made it yet because it's the new field that we need to make. Okay, so we'll make that now. So to make a calculated runtime field, the best way to do that is if you click here in the next available column, If you knew how to type it in, that's fine, but I like to just click on build and then right click here and build, and we can build that field. So you need to go into your database from the table, and it's from genre, or games, sorry, and then just look at that question again. So it is global sales. Double click on this one. Divided by 354. So slash 354 and then multiplied by 100. Double check that one. Multiplied by 100. Press OK. So that would, I think, make a percentage possible if it's times it by 100. Okay, you'll see this will appear now. So it has expression 1, which is the title. At this point, I would run it. And you can see if it does this, it just means it doesn't quite fit in. Yeah, and it also needed to be 2 decimal points, which we can look at next. And expression 1. So now you know that worked. Go to design view. And where it says expression 1, before the colon, you can change it to what the question asks, which was sales underscore percentage. There. Okay, and then run. That's changed. And now we'll do the decimal points. So in design view again, you can right click, go to properties, and in the property sheet we can do format. Okay, that's a little small. Format needs to be the same currency, which was pounds. Decimal places 2. I'm just going to test that, and that's worked there as well. Okay, and yes, so that's this. How much sales percentage will appear? Okay, I'm just going to read the question again there. Format, actually, it's not currency, is it? Format this field, display 2 decimal places. Okay, I've just thought I put it as currency. And let's have a look. So you can maybe tell me in the comments, should that be without sales percentage? It's not currency, it's a percentage of the total sales. So again, that's me just not quite reading the question and just jumping ahead, I think. So I would leave that as a fixed run, because I'm thinking it's a percentage of the total sales. It's not going to be the currency. Yes, that's right. Okay, let me know in the comments if you think I'm right with that one. That's an interesting one. So again, just read the questions carefully. There's a lot to read in some of these report ones. Okay, next we'll do the query search. So select the records. Text is Thomas. So view, design view. Okay, I had a couple of students in a class who, for their criteria, they typed in Thomas with a H. They ran it and nothing came up, and they couldn't see why. But again, just read the question. It is Thomas, spelled with an O. Run. Okay, let's go back. I've obviously done a mistake there. Game title. Okay, that's interesting. What have I done there? Includes the text Thomas. I can see why. They also did that. So includes the text Thomas. So that means you need to have the wildcard, Thomas. So again, don't make that mistake that I just made. Run. So anywhere in the text is Thomas. So again, these questions that you have to read quite a lot includes the text Thomas, not is Thomas. Age code, C3 or C7. So go to view. Now this is where we don't actually have age code here. So I think, again, if you didn't read the question, you might go to age category and put the search criteria here, but there is no age category, which is, for example, C7. It's a data mismatch, okay, because it's text. So we need to then add in another one, age code, drop it over here. You don't have to show it, so you could untick the box, and it's not going to show in that data. And then it was C7, and I've just forgotten it was, or C3. So I'll try that again. So C3, and just type or C7, Click out, and you can see it. That will do C3 or C7. Run. Age category is now 3 and 7 based on the age code. Yes. So again, that question was difficult because I've not seen this in many questions where the age code is in the query, but it won't show on the report, and it doesn't. That might trick a few people. Okay, the rest we can do in the report. So now we can close this down, save it yes, and we'll call it as question 17, so we don't get confused with the other query. Okay, so query, create, we can go to report wizard, query 17, push that across. It's in the same order we had before. Next. No grouping. Next. No. And there was two sorts, I believe. It was ascending order of console type, and it was descending order of global sales. And that was descending. Yes. Okay, while we're here, I'm just going to copy the title. Junior Thomas Games. It's landscape. Yep. And make sure that's ticked so that it fits on one page. The title, again, just copy it accurately. Junior Thomas Games. Preview the report. Before I do that, I'll just check there's nothing else. And yeah, so this one, we want calculate every price. We'll do that in a second. Okay, so the rest of it, finish. Again, zoom out, have a look. You can see we need to move some things across. And also, anything that was in the sort will go to the front. So you're going to have to move that again and put it back in the right order. There is another way where you can go up and sort it here, but I think I like to do that way because it's in the wizard and it will do it for you with the sort. Okay. So in this one, I'm just going to make these slightly smaller. Okay, and we can do the rest in the layout view. So here, we just need to put back in the right order. So it's global sales is third. So so move this across 1, 2, about there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then move these across. They're the first three. Then it will be, I think, global sales would be popped in there, and console type is the 1, 2, third last one. So console type, we'll take it from the start. I'll just make that smaller, and we can change it back later. And it was the third last one, so I'll just drop it there for now. And then you could sort of match it up again, but you can just do that in view, layout view. And you can see on this view, it's just a little bit easier just to join them all consistently. Okay, category, we can then move across. Put that over here. Global sales. If you hold down control, you can do them both at the same time. Game publisher. Move those across. Console type. Price. And last one, sales. Okay, and I'll just go into home, view, report view. Again, just have a look at that. I can see global sales didn't quite fit on. This needs to be slightly wider to get that in there as well. So just double check on different views. So this needed to be a little bit wider, and global sales didn't quite get shown there. Okay, and again, you can spend more time just to double check it, especially when you print it out as well. So I'm going to go back to design view for the next question. So just make sure I'm going to do your name in the footer of the report so it appears on every page. So this one's important. You've got page footer of your report. It needs to go in here. So you'll go add in your label, put your name, number, center there, and that will appear on every page. You just put it somewhere so you can see it. Next question is just these two. So the average price. Now this is a hard one, maybe I think, to teach because it's normally at the end of the questions and you have to do all those steps first, and then this one, I think it's quite easy to do, but it's at the end of a lot of tasks, so then it's almost sometimes missed off. So calculates the average price below the price column with average game price fully visible to the left. So to do this question, you will see if I was to click in price on this one, the page header, this is the field name. You can't get totals here. But if I was to click on price, totals does appear. On this column, you can have these things. So count records will count the amount. Average will do average. Sum is the total of all of them. Sometimes I've seen max and min. So because it's a number of price, we can have the average, and that will appear in the report footer. So check the question, end of the report, so it is in the report footer. If it was on every page, it would be in the page footer. Okay, we'll make that slightly wider. So at the end of the report, we're going to have average price, and then we want a label next to that, which will say average game price. Okay, and join them together. What I might also do is just stick that to be right aligned, and you might see why in a second. And then view, let's go to report view. If you go down, got name, number, center number, average price here, 28.93 at the end of the report. Okay. There's another way to do that. It's in layout view. You can also, again, when you're on the field name, total doesn't show. If you click here, you can also add the total there as well. Okay. Good. So format this value as currency with 2 decimal places. I'll just double check that one went on, and I think I've answered everything else as well. Footer of the report, yes. Save and print your report. So yeah, that did show as currency. If it doesn't show, what you can also do is right click and go to properties, and you can change the format here in format, currency 2 decimal places. And same with anything else. If you notice now that something appears that isn't how it asked earlier, you can then right click and change it. So I can see, yeah, everything else is fine. Okay, now go ahead, file, home, view, print preview, print it out, have a look at your printout, make sure it's all there. It's 2 pages with the average game price at the end. Now, I just remembered we had that one we entered, so the record Dr. Thomas is there. So that will be the 2 marks for the one you entered. If that's in this one, this is where you get those 2 marks when you print it off. Okay. Last question, evidence showing your database formula used to calculate the average price. Again, I guess you could, if you couldn't work out how to do that, you could just type in here the answer as a label, and you get 1 mark technically. So they want to see that you actually knew how to do that. So you can then go to design view, and here's your screenshot. So you can just take in here, yeah, equals average price. And then that was in step 17, evidence. Okay. Very quickly look at the question, make sure the formula is fully visible. 14 marks, that's quite a large question. Okay, perfect. So 28 marks.
For the presentation, so hopefully you've already done the Word and then database, and then you need to create a short presentation. All slides have a consistent layout and consistent formatting. So you need to open the playgroup rich text file, and then it says, unless you're told to do so, they must display a title and a bulleted list. So this one's really important that you know how to open basically a Word document in a presentation. So when you open PowerPoint, you can make a blank presentation. You can go to File, Open, and then you need to make sure you press all files, because normally you would only open a presentation files. But there's another way. You can go to New Slide, and we're actually going to use an outline. So the file, which is Playgroup, is an outline. It has titles and bulleted lists in, and there's 8 slides there. So we'll go ahead and delete that first one as we don't need it. And there you go. So you can see the headings and then bulleted list on each of those. So top right corner is the header with your name, center number, and candidate number. Okay, so to appear on every page, you need to go to View and go to the Slide Master. And it will open in the type of slide it is. We don't want that. We would prefer to use number 1, which is, I guess, is the master slide. Okay, in your footer, you've got it here, but it might just be easy enough to go Insert and put in a text box. So in the top corner, you will put your name, canned number, and center number there as well. And yeah, so it's in the top right corner of that slide, and that should appear on every slide. Okay, to check that, just go to View, go back to Normal, and you can see it appears up there on each of them, and it shows. Okay, I guess you could add it to every page, but you'd have to manually copy and paste it on if you forgot how to do that in the exam, but that's much quicker if you know how. Okay, second one, it asked for, in the bottom left corner, the page number. So again, it will appear in this layout. You need to go to number 1, the master slide. And you can see page numbers there, but you need to, and I always find this tricky, is if you just click here, it will not show. You actually have to go to Insert, and you've got here date and time slide number. If you add on slide number, and it adds it into the text box there, but it won't always show. Let's add slide number again. If you do it without being in a text box, you need this one, the header and footer toolbar. And you need to make sure you click this box and tick it, or it just won't show. Same if you put your name in the header or footer. You need to make sure this is ticked, or it won't show on each slide. So slide number is ticked, apply to all, and then press, we also need to move the slide number to this side. I almost forgot. And it just wanted it to be left bottom corner on every slide. So go back to Slide Master, close Master View, and you can see each page now has a slide number appearing. Okay, if I click through, you can see the next question says make sure it's not on top of anything or it's readable. Good. Yes, so I think we've answered those ones. So 21, locate the slide with our staff and 3 bulleted items after the text center manager. Make sure it looks like this. So it looks like we've got bulleted list. It looks like it's indented and it's got a dash for these 3. Okay, so on that slide, our staff, select the 3 that need to be indented and press just above your caps lock, the indent. If that's 1 indent, it looks like it probably has to be 2 from the picture. Okay, the second thing, we needed not circle bullets, we want dashes. So you go up to the bullet point in the toolbar, and you can see there's no dashes there. So you can go to bullets and numbering to have extra. And again, there's none on the list, so you can customize. Okay, and then you'll have to look through and find the one that you would like. So if you click on them, it gives you a thing, horizontal bar, that looks too wide. That's superscript, so it's below. We want just a normal hyphen, which looks like it's this one, hyphen. And then press OK. And OK, and then that will give the dashes for the bullets, just for those ones. Okay, let's just double check. That looks the same, and then there would be 3 marks. Okay, 22, delete the slides, our guiding principles. So look for that one, our guiding principles. Looks like it's slide number 3, and then just press right click and delete, or press delete on your keyboard. There we go. Okay, that was an easy mark. 23. So this looks like it's the chart question. So locate testscores.csv and create a vertical bar chart. And we need to compare only literacy and maths. And then the rest we can do once it's created. So I already had it open from earlier. So open up the test scores. And it wants, so with the subjects, preschool, no preschool. It doesn't want science, so you can hold down Control. And then literacy and maths. If you select those, And then I'd like to go up to Insert and look for charts, and it is a vertical bar chart. So you could do recommended charts, but we know it's a bar chart. And then, yeah, select the vertical bar chart, which compares, which I guess is this one. Okay, and then we can look back at the question. It wants the subjects as labels on the category axis, which look like they're already there. You can see the label preschool and no preschool. And if that wasn't there, you can go up to Design, Add Chart Element, and it would be Axis Titles. And then you could add them there, but it's already showing. Now, we want, double check the question. Oh, yeah, compare achievement, display the subjects, yeah. 24, label the chart with the title. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. Again, it's in bold, so it has to be exactly the same as this paper. Don't make a mistake there. That's an easy mark. And the chart title will be that. And then display the following. Values only as data labels along the top of each bar. So the data labels, you will click on here. That's not showing. You can go to Design. Let's go to Add Chart Element, and you can see Data Labels. And then if you hover, it shows you where they'll go. And outside end looks like it's on the outside of each bar. Perfect. Next question. A legend showing preschool and no preschool. We already have the legend here. So again, if you needed a legend, access to, where would that be? Legend. And then actually you could choose where it goes if it asked you that as well. I don't think it asked you in the question. So the legend is at the bottom. Yes, and it doesn't actually specify where it should be. Okay, next one. Format the value axis scale to display. Minimum value of 0, maximum value of 56, and then in increments, so steps of 8. So 0 to 56. To do that, you can click on this bar here, which has, at the minute, it's 0 to 60, and right-click, and you can go to Format Axis. Okay, and then this is what we need. There is these different bars here. It's already in the options. So the maximum we want is 58. And then just click off. You can see for some reason that's gone to -2, so we would want to change that back to 0. Okay, and that's up to 0. Oh, I don't know why that's not showing. 0 to 50. Let's go back. Oh. I can see why. I'll just come off there. I guess because it's at the minute it's going in increments of 10, so it's not showing 58 because it should show 60. So format axis, and the next step is it wants to go in increments of 8, so we can change 10 to 8, and that's automatically changed. And then yeah, now we can see 56 is at the top, so that's answered the first one. Okay, maximum of 56. Did I do 58 by mistake? There we go. So we answered that one. That's all done. Place the chart to the left of the bullets in the slide. Academic performance, left of the bullets. So that's finished. That was quite an okay chart one. Sometimes it can be quite tricky with reading it. So I'm going to go ahead and Control-C to copy. And then in the academic performance, okay, to the left of the bullets. So we'll move this to the right and then paste in. Now you've got different paste options. I guess you could go in as a picture, and then you can move the size, put it sort of roughly in the middle so it's consistent. And then we'll go ahead and read those questions. No words are split. Everything's fully visible and nothing overlaps with other items. So back to the presentation. No words are split. So I guess when you move this across, there's no words sort of split in half. I guess because we've taken a picture of this one, we can just pop it in the middle. I think that's okay. It's answered the question, and nothing is covering the title or the name and the number in the bottom corner. Perfect. Okay, 28. On the slide, long-term benefits, create an arrow-shaped action button that looks like this in the bottom right corner. Okay, and we'll put it to lifelong.csv. So, okay, let's go back a second. In the long-term benefits there, in the bottom right, so we can go up to insert, and then we'll find a shape. Shape is here. And at the very bottom, we've got action buttons. Okay, there isn't an action button that looks like an arrow, but you can just put an arrow in here. So we'll do it this way. And we'll draw it. So it looks like the question. There we go. And that one's not filled, so you can fill it to be white. The other one looked like it had a thicker outline. So shape, outline, weight. Make it maybe about that one, I'd say. Yeah, and then with a black outline. Okay, there we go. Make it slightly like that. Okay, now it wants it to be an action button, but we can just hyperlink it. So when you click on it, so you go right click and go to hyperlink. And then we want to go to existing file. You can then find the file. Okay, mine's in here somewhere, and it wanted to go to lifelong, so this one, and then press OK. Okay, you won't see, but that is now hyperlinked. You could test it, but there's no point because it's not going to be in your evidence. So you can see the hyperlinks there. Okay, it will open that document. Yeah, enter the text lifelong gains in a black font in the action button. So if we click on it and just type lifelong games, it looks like this is in white text. So let's go to home and put it in black. And yeah, lifelong gains, I've got that on copy. And make it black. Make it slightly wider, and then it's in black font. So at the beginning that was in white for some reason, but just chose the font block. Okay, perfect. Make sure the text displays on one line. I just did that just by chance. So if it does overlap, it's on one line. It does not overlap the border. So let's just double check what I did without looking at the question. Yes, so that's already in and it doesn't overlap. Okay, take screenshot evidence now to show the action button links to the correct file. Place this in your document is step 28. So the good evidence for that, I guess, is you could right click and I would edit that, and you can see the link there. Now you would take a screenshot, making sure the address shows there. Okay, that would be one screenshot. So in the evidence document in step 28. Okay, and just to double check, let's press OK. And yeah, I think that should be sufficient evidence. I'm just wondering if we need to show the whole bar of that one. I think edit hyperlink, that should be enough, I think. Yeah, so that will show that you've edited it and it goes to that page. And you can even have this with that in the background as well, maybe as extra evidence. Okay, right, perfect. And then save the presentation. Good. I'd make sure you save it just in case you lose anything out. If it's coming towards the end of your exam, that could be a disaster because this is 19 marks for this question. And then it normally asks you to print it twice, but this case it looks like it's only one. Print the full presentation as handouts in portrait orientation, 2 slides to the page, each filling half the page. So I'll put this here because there was a lot to take in there. So when you print this, file, print. Okay, it wants all the pages, full presentation, handouts. So click full page slides, and it wants 2 slides of the page. Okay. Each filling half the page. Yeah. In portrait orientation, yes, it already is. Perfect. So this one seemed quite simple. And sometimes it asks you to maybe print evidence of just the one with the chart on, but this one has everything there. Okay. The only problem you might face here is, at the moment, your name is in the top corner. It doesn't actually ask you this in the evidence, but if the invigilator can't read your name, they won't give you the paper. So what I found is you can also go to header, edit header and footer, and this will be in the full page. You can even put in the footer your name, candidate number, center number here, just so when you receive it, it's you get given it. Because I found, and I've seen in the past, that the invigilator wasn't able to read the name when it was that small on each slide, and then they didn't actually give it to some of the students. But if it's here in the bottom, that's fine. But it doesn't actually ask you that in the question. Okay? So print that off, and then let's have a look. And the final task is then to print your evidence document, and hopefully you'll have enough time and it's not too stressful towards the end of the exam. Okay. So thank you for watching this video. If it was helpful, I also have other videos on Cambridge IGCSE ICT. Any questions, pop them in the comments. And again, I would appreciate if you liked and subscribed if this video was helpful. So thank you and good luck with any of your exams.